first kickoff in a Broncos uniform, and it's an onside kick, and it's fumbled into the hands of the Raiders, and there's a pile, and it seems like the Broncos may have it. Wilson looking toward the end zone, trying to get away from Crosby, back in the end zone, touchdown Broncos. It's Abdul out of the backfield, Garoppolo scrambling to his left, pointing to traffic, goes to the end zone, it's tipped, and it's intercepted! On the left is Sutton. A second and goal, Wilson looking at the back of the end zone, dancing around, pointing, throwing, back of the end zone, touchdown Broncos!
Hey Broncos country, I'm Lori Lattimore-Volkman, and this is the Roundup post-game report. Sad report. Well, that did not go as planned. And if you live your life on Twitter, you were probably melting down with the rest of Broncos country Sunday evening. But if you take a deep breath, you might realize that even though it was a 1-point loss, and even though it was an L to the Raiders, it was not the same disaster train that we suffered through every week last season. And that is a big positive. For one thing, one big thing, the Broncos offense moved the ball.
You know, we had 6 possessions. I thought we did well on pretty much all of them. I think the biggest thing is just finding one more play here. You know, I thought we played well on offense throughout the game. You know, I thought we made some great plays. Guys, we were battling up front. I thought the offensive line did a tremendous job. Seeing LJ make that touchdown and Cortland Sutton played a great game. I think it was also really good to see Javonte back in the game. We knew it was going to be a fight. We knew it was going to be a battle. We thought we were going to come out on top. Unfortunately, we didn't.
Russell Wilson was nimble and quick. The O-line was amazing. 11 different receivers caught the ball. And Samaje Perine and Javonte Williams were both relatively successful in the ground game. That first half was some of the best Broncos football we have seen in a really long time. The success of the 2-minute drill, getting the ball back, getting the go-ahead touchdown, nice. It was nothing short of inspirational for this team and its fan base. And even though it didn't carry on into the second half, there is a lot to be happy about. Last year, the Broncos didn't have a single drive that lasted more than 8 minutes. Thanks, Andrew Mason, for that stat. But on Sunday, they had 2. They also averaged 2.7 points per possession. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you put it in perspective, as Andrew Mason did for us, that's a huge improvement.
Still, the offense averaged 2.7 points per possession. That is actually a very good day when you're going by per possession metrics. If you have 10 possessions, that's 27 points. But it was a 6-possession game for the Broncos because those drives took a while. And it's another positive sign. Last year, not a single drive of more than 8 minutes. Today, 2 of them.
Yes, the defense had its struggles. Didn't help that Caden Stearns went down with an injury early on, or that Damari Mathis struggled mightily with Jacoby Myers. But the defense did stop the run, keeping Josh Jacobs, who has been its nemesis in past contests, to just 52 yards. Problem was, Vance Joseph could not figure out how to dial up the pressure and stop the run. There was 1 interception. We see you, K-Jack, in the end zone. Nice work. And 5 passes defensed. 3 of them by Pat Surtain, who was covering, of course, Devontae Adams. And PS2 allowed just 2 passes for 11 yards on 5 targets. And he had 3 passes batted down. Not too shabby. And then, of course, there were special teams. Will Lutz, you have to make those kicks. In a 1-point loss, 4 points left off the board stings.
I was brought here to help win close games, and today was my day. And I've been in this position before, and I've come out of it. So, we'll be back to work this week and focus on next week.
While the coach and quarterback were disappointed in the loss, both were encouraged by the progress.
I still think at the end of the day, we should have won that game. We felt like. I thought we did a good job of guys making catches and making plays. I think a bunch of guys caught the football tonight. Did some good things. I think the running game up front with our backs and what they can do is really exciting. So we're just going to get better for next week.
Look, obviously a disappointing loss. kind of a hard-fought game that, you know, we kind of felt at halftime this was going to come down to a possession. We didn't make enough plays. There'll be some things, and I just told our team, there'll be some things we like that we see on this film, and then there'll be some other things we've got to correct. I thought the penalties were a tick high for us. That's going to hurt us. I thought we defended the run well. Kind of go from there.
Personally, I'm encouraged too. Lutz has to make those kicks.
Extra point. I was surprised a little bit his first kick. He'll bounce back. You know, he's had a good 2 weeks with us. Hadn't had any issues, and you know, we attempted the longer field goal, the 55-yard field goal. That one looked pretty close. That two, I think, was missed right though. So we'll work to get that cleaned up.
The defense needs to get more pressure on the quarterback. The offense needs to stay aggressive, and Bill Vinovich needs to stop roughing. Okay, I mean, that one was kind of called for. But overall, the team looked far more polished. They looked confident, they looked excited, they looked like they knew what they were doing on the field. Although they didn't always execute to perfection, they did not look incompetent. And if you recall, that's exactly how they looked for 17 games last season.
You know, I think the front five that we have, you know, it's going to be a winning front five. I believe that those guys up front can do it all in terms of the run game and passing game. Got great confidence. I think that showed today.
As cliche as Russell Wilson can be sometimes, I think he has a point. The Broncos just needed to make one more play, and that's a different game.
We're excited about, you know, who we are and where we're going to be, you know, and I think the biggest thing is continuing to push. You know, it's got another opportunity next week. We've got to come back ready to swing and go get a win.
Hopefully next week they make that one more play, because it's not going to get any easier from here on out. But trust me, Broncos country, the season has not gone off the rails because we're 0-1. There is reason for optimism. Check back in with me next week. If we're 0-2, we'll talk. But for now, let's ride.